Hello, everyone. We are live, and today is Thursday, October 26th. And as you know, I'm Lucy Rosa-Stagi, and I'm here to introduce you to an awesome guest who we will talk about within a minute. But before we do that, I would just like for you to, in the comments below, if you're joining us live, hashtag live. If it's the replay that you're watching, hashtag replay, and do tell us where you're coming from. As you know, I always come to you from Mexico unless I'm traveling, and my guest today is from Alaska. Okay, a couple of housekeeping things since we're on StreamYard. You may have noticed up above the video there is a strip that says StreamYard. Would you kindly click on it? It will allow StreamYard to use your name. Now, why do you want StreamYard to use your name? Well, because it will allow us to interact with you and we will know who you are. Because if you don't do that and you try to interact, you will come across as Facebook user and we won't know exactly who is with us. And it's so much fun when you can interact, when you can make comments, when you can even ask questions of me or my guests. So please do give permission to StreamYard to use your name. Simply click on that strip, and that allows StreamYard to use your name. Also, you may not even want to comment, you may not even want to interact with us, but you may want to simply react. All right. If you're going to react, send us likes, but more important, send us hearts. You know, the algorithm likes hearts, and so do we. We like that you love us. So, let me tell you a little bit about how my guest and I met. I think it was about 3 years now. We met online, and Dean Graciosi and Tony Robbins were doing one of the 5 day challenges, Own Your Own Future. And after the challenge, I was I was on the Facebook, and I could see that there were some people struggling, and my guest was one of them. So I reached out to her and said, what are you struggling with? And a lot of people are struggling with not getting their questions answered, not knowing where the next step was. So I suggested that my team and I could help her, and sure enough, she came to join our team, Launch Lab Academy, and the rest, of course, is history. She's been, practically one of our founding members. So that's what happens when you're open to the universe, knowing that the universe will bring you to the right people. And I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, what do we have in common? We certainly have self development in common. And the other thing, we both love helping and impacting other people's, especially women's lives, with extracting their knowledge and their expertise. We both have the same mentors: Tony, of course, Dean Graciosi, Lisa Nichols, and so many others. So, without any further ado, I want you to meet Moriah Hudson. Moriah, how are you?
I'm good.
It looks like you're outside in Alaska. Is that right?
Well, no, this is actually a background and it's the redwoods. We don't have that here, but I do have mountains that I usually have.
Oh, wonderful. So, Mariah, were you born in Alaska?
No, I was actually born in Southern California. I wound up in Alaska, not by choice. My wife was real sick and I had to retire, and we didn't have the income to stay in Seattle.
Right.
And one of our sons had a mobile home here that offered it to us for dirt cheap. So that's how we wound up in Alaska.
Oh, and has it been a pleasant journey for you? Or I mean, I do realize that you have lost your loved one, so that that was certainly not
I
pleasant.
I would say that it was the perfect place for me at the time, because after I lost her, I was not very functional. It
Right,
wouldn't have made it in the big city.
right. The beauty surrounding you must have been very kind of helpful in a lot of ways, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and the solitude.
In the solitude. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So we are here today, Mariah. This is not the first time I'm interviewing you, so welcome back, by the way.
Thank
And
you.
and I know that you are a member of the Launch Lab Academy, the premium program, and I know that you are launching yet another challenge. So we're here to talk about your upcoming event, your workshop, which is called Healing Your Broken Heart. This Sunday, October 29th at 10 a.m. ET time or 7 a.m. PT time, right?
Right.
Okay, so Mariah, could you share with us, what inspired you to create Healing Your Broken Heart webinar?
Well, obviously, when I lost my wife, the next year and a half or 2 years was horrible. I was in isolation here, and my support system was in Seattle, which is 2,000 miles away.
Mhm.
So, and all I wanted to do was die. Well, I didn't die, and I thought maybe I would be able to help somebody else go through what I did, and I could give them some tools. And I
Right.
took this little tiny dream to a group of business people and said, this is what I think I want to do. And in 9 months, we've done that. And we've created this Healing Your Broken Heart for senior lesbian widows, is how it started. And it's still going. But in the last 6 months, I've had my straight friends and family and business associates say, what about us? What can we do about our grief?
Right.
So I made the decision that this Sunday is an open workshop. Anybody can attend.
Okay, so it's not for just there's an echo for some reason. I just want to let me come back to you. Facebook user, I know you said, is there any way that you can send me a link? Really, look above the video or below the video. You're already in. Just click on it so that Facebook, you're allowing Facebook to use your name. So try that because you are in already. Because I see you because you're commenting. So it's just a question of allowing Facebook to use your name. So I think it's above or below the text um, that where you will find the click. Okay, so what's the primary message that you hope that participants will take away from this particular workshop?
Well, my primary message would be that in order to move through the grief, you have to have some tools. You can't do it by yourself, or you would have already had it done.
So I, I, I just love your sincerity. If you had had the tools, you'd already have it done. I just love you, Mariah. But it's so right. It's so true. So, I know that the grief journey is unique to each one of us. There's not one of us that hasn't had a suffering or grieving for a lost one. What can participants expect from your webinar that will help them navigate it? When you talk about tools, well, what will help them navigate their own path to healing after a significant loss? I know that everything takes time, and it's been 3 years for you. That's a long time to be grieving.
Well, what I do is actually try to help them open themselves up. I have some really good exercises that do that, and teach them how to support each other and how to support yourself, because grief is like a truck that's been down a muddy road so many times that it's in a rut. And in order to get out of that rut, you have to start turning the wheel a little bit at a time. And that's what grief is. I
Right.
still have the same grief, but it doesn't break my heart anymore when I think about it.
Right. So you're not kind of wallowing in it anymore. It's kind of, because we've all experienced that grief, and it just feels like I want to die. It's like, oh my God. and but you want to live at the same time, and it's like, how do I get out of this? And so, you've had that challenge, and you've overcome that, and now you're here to help other people do the same. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, I want to say hello, Magda. Magda, hello, hello, hello. We have a Facebook user, Magda, who cannot find StreamYard to click on so that her name can be used. I know it's Carol, and is it Carol Hart? I'm not sure, but perhaps Magda, you could write us a little note and help Carol to figure out how she can allow Facebook user to use her name, just like you are using your name, Magda Summer. Thank you, Magda, for being here. And Magda knows about grief, and she says it's not linear. Okay, so you know it's interesting that it's not linear. I'd like to talk a little bit about that, but before we do that, could you tell us, because you mentioned that you have a 3-step program that you've developed to guide individuals through that paralyzing grief process. Can you, without giving it away, tell us a little bit about what those 3 steps are?
Well, it's mindset is the first thing,
Okay.
and how we deal with that can change your life.
Absolutely.
We
Every
also
day.
we also talk about celebrations. What
Mhm.
kind of celebrations have you done? And we go
Right.
through that process. And the last one is gratitude.
Hmm. Absolutely, because you can't be sad when you're grateful, you know?
That's
And
true.
those words seem so easy and seem so simple, but it's really hard to get into the correct mindset. You need to have the tools to do that. And gratitude also, yes, thank God I'm alive, but there's got to be more. There's got to be more to that. There's lots of ways to be grateful, and I'm expecting you to talk about that and go through that, and that be part of your workshop. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what makes that unique and effective?
Lucy, I got to be honest. I'm really good at this. I have always been good at this. I have been around grief since I was 20 years old, and anybody in the family or friends died, I was there.
Mm,
And it's been that way all my life. The only difference is now I have some tools to share that I didn't have back then.
right. That's really important. So that makes it unique and effective because you've been there. You've Yeah, that is huge. So tell me, Mariah, for those who maybe hesitant to attend, what would you say to encourage them to join your webinar on Sunday, October 29th, folks? That's when it is, October 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Am I
No,
correct? Oh,
10
11
a.m. Eastern,
Eastern time.
7 a.m. Pacific.
Thank you for that correction. So anybody who be a little hesitant, what would you say to encourage them to be there?
I would say you have the holidays coming up.
Hmm.
How are you going to deal with that this year that's different than last year?
Wow.
And what better way to waste an hour and a half of your time? If it doesn't help, who cares? But if it does help, and it helps you direct your heart in a place that you can begin to move through the grief, it's well invested.
Wow. Mariah, I mean, so many people have busy schedules. I love your authenticity, so you come for an hour and a half, and it didn't serve you, but it may have made a difference in your life, so why wouldn't you do this, right? I mean, oh my God. So is there, because there will be a replay, what are the advantages maybe of participating real time live instead of just getting the replay? I mean,
Well,
I could answer that question, but I want you to answer that question.
well, the webinar will be live, which means you'll be interacting.
Right.
A replay, you're a spectator. This
Yeah.
is not a spectator sport.
Oh, wow.
This is a participant sport. And what we're going to do is going to be more impactful because you'll be interacting with all of us.
Wow. This is not a spectator sport. I love that. I mean, Moriah, how can they access the replay and what kind of experience can they expect from it just as the replay, not being live? The great thing about being live, look, I want to thank I want to thank Flora for being live here. It just makes things so much better. Magda, who says, I lost my friend a few years back, and Mariah's webinar helped me a lot to I guess to earn this opportunity and to attend it. So Magda is right there for telling us that how much she benefited from your webinar. Flor, we will learn a lot from you, Moriah, because Flor knows you too. Energy rocks. And you start where energy is. It's like Carol. Oh, it is Carol Hart. Maybe I can get in because because I didn't have a streamline. I don't know. Okay, so we want Diane's here from Alberta. Also, thank you, Diana, for Diane for being here. So the idea of being live makes us more alive, also, right? And so the idea is that if you're live, you can ask a question, you can participate, you can comment, you can share your perhaps the grief that you have, and who knows, she may, then you can contact Moriah, and then get on a discovery call with her and find out how she can particularly help you. Can you share a glimpse of the topics, or perhaps the key takeaways that you'll cover during the webinar, again, without giving it all away, specific insights, things like that?
I think that the mindset is going to probably be the most comprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to discuss that the most and find out where people are, because that's the first step.
Yep.
If you're not aware, you don't change anything.
Absolutely.
And I did have one person ask me a question about this webinar, and they said, am I ever going to be the same?
Mm.
And the answer is no. But you weren't the same last year. You weren't the same the year before. This is something that you can change, but you need the tools. And come hang out with us. It's going to be, I guarantee you, it will be an experience.
Thank you. And Moriah, Magda reiterates that, and she thanks you for what you're doing. It really is much needed, because nobody teaches us how to grieve. Nobody. I can remember, Moriah, when I was young, and I had a lot of relatives die, and we would be taken to the funeral home, and we'd have to kiss this dead body. They'd have us kiss their forehead. I was horrified. And I didn't even realize at a young age that I'd never see this person again. Things don't happen. So when you have the experiences like that, it's really hard to know how to grieve, And so later on in life, when you have a broken heart, it's like, it's like, where do I go? What do I do? Who can help me? I remember it happened to me 7 years ago, 8 years ago now. I didn't know how to grieve, and I was 70 years old.
Yep.
70 years old.
Yep.
So there's a grieving process here, folks, and we need to know how to handle grief, just like we need to know how to handle stress, or how to handle when we become rich, how to handle so many things that even our checkbook we're
Yeah.
never that were never ever taught. Can you describe a success story, perhaps a friend, a transformation that one of your past participants experienced as a result of attending your workshop? I think Magda may be one of it,
Yeah, there she is. I think that one of the success stories is a friend of mine that um, was able to connect with her grandmother that passed away that she'd never been able to grieve for. We have one of the tools that kind of opened her up for that. And she said that
Wow,
was very helpful.
I bet. Oh my God. So you actually have ways of doing that. That is very powerful. Wow, 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 wow. So I know that the empowerment and resilience, if anybody has resilience, Mariah, you do. And I know that empowerment and resilience are at the core of your very mission. How do these themes manifest itself in the webinar, and how do they relate to the healing process?
Well, as you become more aware of who you are and what you tell yourself,
Hmm.
and you begin to change that, and then there's little twists and turns that we can do to get out of that rut.
Hmm.
And that's the tools I'm going to give.
Wow. Okay. So finally, what is the vision? What is the vision for the impact of this webinar on the lives of a senior, whether they're lesbian widows or just non-lesbian widows, and even men who widowers who lose a loved one. What is your vision for the impact of this webinar for those grappling with grief?
Uh, my vision is when the holidays come, which they will, and
Hmm.
the families come, and all the stuckness is there.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to use these tools, and they'll have moved the wheel out of the rut far enough that they're going to survive.
Wow, what timeliness for you that you're doing this, just before the holidays. Oh my God. I just honor you and how you impact so many people's lives. I just honor you and thank you for the work that you do. Can you tell us how, or tell my audience how they can be part of this webinar or workshop that you call it? Well, I do have down below that you can join Mariah's workshop, and it's a long link. And folks, I will put that link in the comments below this video so you can just copy it and go to it's a landing page, right, Mariah, with
Yes.
where people can
Yeah.
just pay for the workshop. Is that correct?
Yeah. When you click on the link, it's my Facebook page. And to
Okay.
the right hand side under the updates, you go to see more, and it has the registration link that you just click and it will register you.
Okay, wonderful. Is there a cost for this? I mean, I didn't mention a cost, but look at you. I
No,
know.
it's free.
Unbelievable, folks. This is a free workshop just before the holidays. Mariah is all heart. I know her well. I know her well. If you need to work with grief, do so. It's just before the holidays. Please, please, please get on this. I guess Magda just put in the your Facebook. I think it is right.
Yep.
And we will put all of this information underneath the video in the Facebook, and also Mariah will also reach out and put it, wherever it needs to be put. Diane Berg says, thank you for what you do, Mariah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carol says, great question, Lucy. So nice to see you, Carol. All right, and so I want to thank you, Mariah, for not only for the work that you do. I know that you are going to impact so many people's lives, and I just love your authenticity. I mean, really, you're such an authentic person. I just love that about you. So, thank you for being here today. Thank you for the workshop that you're doing on Sunday, and I also want to thank Magda for joining us. I certainly want to thank Carol Hart. I know Carol. I know how it is with techie stuff. I probably would have had the same problem not being able to get on. And Magda says, thank you, ladies. I love you both. Carol says, Carol, great question. Lucy Magda, perfect timing, she says. And Magda also thanks you for what you're doing. It's much needed. We also want to thank Flor for being here. Thank you, Flor. And there's a message for both of us. Thank you very much, Flor. And and you know, Flor repeats it. We will learn a lot from you, Moriah. We know you well, and we know that you're just all heart, and it's free. Now, folks, who doesn't like free? I mean, really, it's a no-brainer, right? Diane from Alberta, thank you for being here. And I want to thank everybody else who is going to participate and see this replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And I will see you next week for another awesome interview. So, ciao for now. Thank you, Moriah.
Do we do